Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. Thanks for joining me here. As you can tell, I don't make my bed. It's the same morning, noon, and night. I'm a little hot here, a little sweaty. So I'm going to talk about a comment on my channel. And I love these comments because it is really special. It really is to be talking about this on video and to be able to have other people come into the experience or my story that I had and leave comments and ask me some critical questions. And so I enjoy it. But I want to talk about right now the abuse of men. So I just shared, my video will be popping up somewhere. I just shared about Kevin Leandro whining. I mean, he thinks he's a man, but he's a baby. You know, a lot of men are babies. They can, you know, just keep on dishing it out, but when you give it back, they can't take it. So Kevin has been putting Miss May, you know, on my envelopes for a while with the court, which is not professional at all. So I started calling him Patchy, and he says I'm making fun of his disability. I'm not making fun of his disability, I'm making fun of him. I'm just making fun of him because he thinks he's so smart, and he's not. So, you know, when you have men who have come after you, as my husband has, which is really sad, because I didn't just lose a husband. I lost somebody who I thought was like my best friend. My best friend. But hey, there's a Judas everywhere, right? And he certainly is. So, so my husband has claimed that we just have irreconcilable differences. Right? And that's not the case at all. The truth is he left me. He abandoned his whole family. He doesn't know how to take care of himself. He actually wouldn't deal with the money at all. You know, I said, look, I don't even want to be in this position all the time of always handling the money. You need to take some responsibility and work with me. And he wouldn't. He wouldn't do it. He wanted the house that we were in, but he didn't want to pay for the bills. So he didn't like that I was like, okay, yeah, well, I think I'm gonna just let some things go down, and I think, you know, while I'm here in Colorado, if you can't help find a place, you know, he can stay in his truck. I mean, I looked, and he didn't want to lift a finger. He had all summer too, when he was hanging out with Mike at work, and he didn't do a thing. He didn't do a thing, and because he was upset or he found another woman. I think that's probably a lot of it right now. I think he probably found someone else. He is, you know, threatening divorce. And so he's, you know, yeah, he can have a divorce. He can have one because he's not happy no matter what. So it's not irreconcilable differences. It's a lot of it too is, you know, as a Christian, you're walking in the Spirit. And when you walk into the Spirit, in the Spirit, what you're doing is you are picking up your cross daily, okay, moment by moment. And the way you speak is you're picking up a conversation, you're leveraging it, you are talking about things in a way where you're picking up the conversation, and you're not just like yes, no. You're picking it up and you're using your mind to speak about things, right? And my husband didn't like that I didn't agree with him. So because I didn't agree with him, he would nitpick and start fights. And, you know, that's ridiculous. A strong woman should be valued, okay? You should want her thoughts, her opinions, a lot of things about her. And a lot of men do not like strong women because they are intimidated by her. They're just like, oh, you know, you don't just do everything I want and everything I say. And I'm not talking about biblical submission, right? Because I felt like I had gotten beat up in the church a lot. I would go and talk to somebody and I'd be like, look, this is how he's acting. He's being rude to me. He tried to publicly humiliate me once in church. We were standing around and there was a pastor there, and he had, you know, a lot of times they give a lot of weight to the men, and he had asked him a question and he kind of put me down in front of like this whole group of people. And I just kind of took it because I didn't say anything at the moment. But when we got in the vehicle, I was like, why the heck do you think it's okay to put me down in front of other people? And he would do this when he was socially awkward to make himself look better. He usually did that. So some men are weak and they don't like a strong woman. They just don't. They feel like they they have no power or control over her. A lot of men who are very successful and, they run, hotels, they run their businesses and everything, they love a strong woman because they know that she can add value to their life. They know that they have somebody who's got their back. They know that they have her back, and they know that what a true partnership is, right? And so when a man can't control you, I have talked to so many women in divorce care class who said it was as soon as he couldn't control me. That's usually what it is with men with divorce, when you have a controlling husband. When he cannot control you, he divorces you because it's an easy way out. And so when we communicate differently, he has felt like he has known my heart about things. He has felt like he has judged my heart. He thinks the worst of me. And with a man like this, you don't need it in your life. And I'll tell you, since I've been over here, my energy has come back. I feel like I went shopping today just for food for me, got lots of fruits and vegetables, and I don't have the weight of him. Oh, why did you get that? Oh, I want this. I want that. It's like a little child, right? So, they don't like Kevin and my husband that I'm on videos, putting them down as they can put me down left and right in court, right? And it's too bad. They, when you can't beat them, they say you should join them. So they can't beat me, so they like to tear me down instead. And they can't seem to leverage the words that they need to say carefully. So, the way a man talks to you, if he talks down to you and starts talking in a way that makes you feel like crap, that's one sign you do not want to be with him. I don't care who it is. If it's a business owner and he starts talking down to you, telling you you don't have the ability to do a good job or something, tell him to go stuff it and make him never forget you. Honestly, make him never forget how he treated you. So anyways, somebody on here, changing the subject, kind of. This is still talking about men. So somebody on here had said, you said when you saw your boyfriend, like years later, yeah, it was like 2017 I saw him. I'm not going to do the math now. I was 16 when this happened. It happened in 1987. So, 2017. Years later, I saw him at Market Basket on Fort Eddy Road. And, oh no, I just realized something. Yeah, Fort Eddy Road again. Okay, so Weeks, where the abortion took place, was Fort Eddy Road, and Market Basket had two places in New Hampshire, Fort Eddy Road and Store Street. So I was at Market Basket with my husband, and usually, I've always seen people when I go into Market Basket, and, we say hi, we catch up, we talk, people from church, people I've known from school, etc. So I happened to be in the grocery store with my husband the few times that my husband did go and usually wanted stuff. That's the only reason why he went. And I'm walking with my husband, and all of a sudden, I'm over by I think I saw him over by the freezer aisle, and I was like, it was like a ghost. I mean, I stood there, and I just kind of like, wow, is that him, And I said, Ben, that's Randy over there. And Ben knew him because we all worked together at Billy's. And I said, I'm going to go talk to him. And I think he said, Melissa, don't go over there or something. I'm like, yeah, I'm going over there. So I went over there, and I was like, Randy? And he's like, yeah. And he looked shocked too. He was just like, it's almost like all the feelings came back between us after years. It was like yesterday. I mean, it was like we were still dating. I don't know why that is. I don't know why after all these years, it was like the feelings before the abortion all came back in a rush. So I was overwhelmed, and I was trying to just stand on my feet, so to say, and be able to talk to him. And at the same time, I was going through a grace group at a church, and this was a group for ladies, and they were really building into me and building me up in the Christian faith. And so I was learning a lot of good theology and being built up, and so I got to share with them later how I felt about it after. And one of the ladies, into psychology and all this stuff. So she was a good mentor. But anyways, I said, can I have a minute with you or something? So yeah, me and him were alone for a minute without his wife. His wife was like, yeah, I'll go look for whatever, it was. And so I don't know if it was ice cream or what. So we had a few minutes alone, and that meant a lot to me. And it's just because the way things ended was so destructive. I mean, it was just never mind a relationship. It was just boom, 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 cut off, and everything was dealt with so carelessly. So I think because I was overwhelmed, I was just like, I am so, so sorry, and I think I felt the overwhelmness and sorrow for the whole situation. Like I just felt like the whole situation was just an awful experience. And I think at this point I was thinking of him more and thinking how awful it must have been for him, because I didn't really have a lot of his input at the time. And I think I just, I was still here. This is when I started coming out healing with the abortion, because it was 2017. I took my first post-abortive class after I saw him. So that's kind of a coincidence how that happened. And, well, wait a minute. No, sorry. I got my dates wrong. Sorry. 2006 is when I had the Grace group. So yes, that's when I saw him. 2006 to 2007, because I had my last son in 2005. He was very colicky, and I had some time. My husband, gave me the time to go to this Grace group. So it was 2006 to 2007. I kept in touch with them for a few years after. And then, yeah, so it was how did I get that date wrong? It was like 10 years after, 2007 to 2017. I had started my post-abortive class, so it was way after. So I was dealing with family issues in the Grace for the Wounded group. And a lot of times women have to deal with family issues before they can get to the core of the abortion. So I was dealing with, I hadn't really dealt with the abortion yet. It was coming out with this Grace group a little bit. I had said something like, geez, look at that tree over there. I had shared in the Grace group, sometimes I see a tree and, I just want to drive into it because of the pain that started coming with the abortion. And it's real. It really is. And someone said, nail it to the cross. Nail it to the cross. I still remember that. So Christ died for everything. He died for all kinds of sin, right? Not just, sin that's obvious, but all sin is the same before the cross. So here I am still taking the blame, right? And here I am with him 10 years later, until I took that post-abortive class in 2017. Here I am taking all the blame again, right? This is how much abortion can deceive people. It just can it can bring you down so much that you can't even deal with everything. And up until today, when this lady said this, this comment, like, why did you say sorry to him? And I was thinking about this today, and I'm like, that's a good question. That's a good question. And when I did say sorry to him, he said, oh, it was just kid stuff. And I felt a punch in the stomach when he said that, because I knew in general he meant, don't worry about it. He's like, don't worry about it. It was just kid stuff. On the one hand, he meant like, we were just kids. Don't worry about it. No big deal. But on the other hand, it felt like a punch in the stomach, because it's like, wait a minute. It is a big deal. We lost a child together. It is a big deal. So, he was encouraging to me and kind, and, I think he was still hurt. I think he was. The look on his face and everything. I think he still was. And I hope he got some help for that. I don't know. But he was with his wife, and he still looked like a mummy's boy. I don't know why I feel like I've got mummy's boys sometimes. Maybe that's why I like the bad boy for a time, Mike, because he was not a mummy's boy. And so, yeah. yeah, so I felt like I tried to do my part and say sorry for whatever part I played in it. And I think I was thinking more of the way I broke up with him, because I was just like, done deal. You know, you just totally lied to me. Done deal. I mean, the way I dealt with it was, don't disrespect me. You know, don't disrespect me. Don't lie to me and disrespect me. Bring me home. And I didn't really talk to him when I was dragged back over there. I just wanted nothing to do with him because I was still stuck in that emotion. So, and I think yeah, I mean, he basically lied to me. So I think I had every right to be mad at him. Um, but I think at the time, because I had gone through so much with stuff coming up, I just think I wanted to maybe appease the situation and be like, I'm, maybe a little bit of people pleasing at that time. I don't know. So, but it was not a real pleasant experience to hear, don't worry about it. It was just kid stuff. You know what I mean? I think he meant well, but it was offensive to me. So, it's just like no responsibility, right? Just like no responsibility for his actions, I think is what really bugged me about it. It was kind of like, could you say maybe you're sorry on your end of it? So, looking at that again with my videos, I'm talking more about this and looking at that question again. Yeah, someone said he owed you an apology, and I think he did. I think he did, and I think it was a situation where I just had not grown enough in healing from the abortion to be able to be just kind of taking all the blame again. And I did that at first, too. I took all the blame, when I went to a pregnancy center and blurted it out, and they're like, God forgives as far as the east to the west. I took all the blame. And I had somebody in my second post-abortive class over here say, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. You took all the blame and now you don't? And I'm like, exactly. And I said I put the ball, in the court. I put the ball where it belongs. I put, and I think she thought, well, did you change your mind? And no. It's a process. It's like peeling an onion back and seeing things that you did not see before and being like, this is where the blame needed to go. I was a minor. I was taken advantage of. And I think there was that feeling from everybody that he took advantage of you, where, he was older. He lied to me. There was just people didn't even know how I got pregnant, but there was a anger toward him, probably because he was the guy and he was responsible. So, he got me pregnant, and I don't know that he really had much of a voice with his parents, because his father's dead now, but his father was a fire chief in Pittsfield. Randy Vian was the name. So his dad and his mother, they were community. And when I saw years later at Walmart, his dad and mom in Walmart, his mother was very protective of her husband. She just saw me and surrounded him, she did not want me to say anything to him. And that happened twice with her. And I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. She's acting strange. So I don't know what exactly happened on that end. And he had a sister, Jeanette, and I'm not sure, the whole thing. But lots of relationships were broken because I did like Jeanette, and, it was just all broken. So that day I saw him, it was kind of like, wow, I get to see him again. And my family has seen him and talked to him, I think, on a regular basis when they run into him. So, but there was a lot of anger for him, toward him. And I think my mother felt like she was going to give him a break and let him get out of it. And he did pay $300 or something for the abortion. Why wasn't more done with him taking more responsibility and more, more conversation about, him getting me pregnant and, yeah, being able to say sorry and being able to be like, I think he did say to me on the way home he was sorry. And, yeah, I mean, I think they just let him get out of it scot-free because he was still young and had his life ahead of him. So that's kind of how it went down. And yeah, I think this person's right on here to say he owed you an apology. And I think that was part of my anger too, because he just, I felt really tricked, and then to feel like he slapped me on the face again, saying it was just kid stuff. In a way, yeah, we were young and we were kids, but where is the responsibility? And I think that it would be great to have some laws for men to have to pay for child support when they do get a girl pregnant. I think it's not pay for the abortion, it's pay for child support. So that's what I got for now, guys. And yeah, I mean, this is like a string of men in my life who have mistreated me. So we've got from starting with my father, the way he acted during my teen years, to this guy Randy, to be totally abandoned like that. I was watching a YouTube channel today where this girl was like, this guy got me pregnant. I'm only, we were together for 6 years. He got me pregnant. I'm 12 weeks along and I don't know what to do. And the advice was just focus on yourself and your baby. And I think that's true. I think I would have been a single mom who would have had to focus, and I could have done it, who would have had to just focus on me and the baby. And yeah, so a string of men, and then now my husband, right? And his little sidekick, Batman and Robin here, his little sidekick Robin coming at me. So when you see men who don't know how to act like men, don't give them the time of day. Don't really bother with them. So I'm not really bothering with my husband. Kevin keeps sending this stuff, and I'm not really bothering with him. I do think he owes me alimony. Other than that, I'm not really bothering with him. I think, if there was something on his side, I talked about in just another video about a Bible study about restoring your marriage. That would be for me, to be able to take care of me better, because you can't control the other person. You can't control them, He's the one who wants the divorce. I didn't go file for divorce. He did. And he's the one who's not happy. So why, if a man can't be happy, why would you want a man around? Like, I had a situation where this guy just recently just did not act happy, and I thought, geez, I would not want to be around him. I mean, what does he have to offer? A guy who's not happy, what does he have to give? What does he have to offer? What can he do for you if he's so self-focused that all he can do is think about himself and his own happiness? I mean, there's nothing he can do for you. So why would any woman want a guy around who's not happy? I don't know. It's like all you can do is think of yourself. So stay away from selfish men. You want men who are outward focused, not selfish.